where we've had all-party conferences, round-table conferences, you can give whatever name you want, that we are going to get cheated, that the TNA is going to cheat a unitary state since independence. Sri Lanka can be federal. Sir, I wish to restrict my comments to constitutional affairs, constitutional reforms, because it's a topical matter in the context of the President, I think on numerous occasions in the recent past, specifically mentioning the need to find a solution to the ethnic conflict which has existed for almost as long a years that Sri Lanka became independent. So in that context, I wish to state a few matters for the purposes of record. Our party has taken up the position, Honourable Presiding Member, that if the President does in fact invite us for these talks, we want that process to be serious. We don't want it to be another talking shop. We've had so many numerous processes in the past where we've had all-party conferences, round-table conferences, you can give whatever name you want, but ultimately nothing has come of it. Certainly as far as finding a solution to the ethnic conflict, the Tamil people have come out of those talks feeling extremely cheated. And that is because when you go into a negotiations process, if you don't know, to some extent at least, that the outcome of those negotiations will have some bearing with regards to finding solutions to the aggrieved party, which is in this case the Tamil people, then that process gets sidetracked to a point that it becomes meaningless. Now, our party is a very good example of winning at the last elections and growing exponentially in popularity in the Northeast, because we are a party that does not want to get cheated, and we are very, very clear about that. And it is for that reason that we have said, and we say it with utmost responsibility, that if these negotiations are to be taken seriously by our party, and if we are to take part, and we would like to take part, but if we are to seriously take part, then there must be certain parameters laid down. We must know that the Tamil people, by going through these negotiations and actually legitimizing this government, because this government needs a lot of legitimacy, because they are not popular. They are in parliament at the rejection of the people of this parliament. So you have a president who's in office when he couldn't win his own seat, and he got elected by members opposite who are being rejected by the people outside. So, I mean, we all know that the president needs legitimacy. We all know that this government needs legitimacy. And in that case, he needs to have people engage with him. So we don't want that legitimacy simply to be given without knowing full well that this process is going to be meaningful as far as our electorate is concerned. And the Tamil National People's Front is a serious organization. We came out of the TNA in 2010, and we went to the people and told the people that we are going to get cheated, that the TNA is going to cheat the Tamil people. There is not going to be any solutions. And it is in fact because we have been so accurate and honest, brutally honest with our people, that today we are growing. We are not going to put that trust in jeopardy. Now, if we are to in fact engage with this government with regards to finding a negotiated solution, then there must be certain parameters laid down. We must know that President Wickremesinghe and this government is serious, and the only way we believe that we can assume that there will be seriousness is if this government tells the Sinhalese people that you cannot find an ethnic problem, you cannot find a solution to the ethnic problem within the unitary state structure. And this government tells the Sinhalese people that considering a federal solution does not mean secession. That there is a massive gap between secession and federalism. And if we can't have this government tell these basic truths to the Sinhalese people, and without saying that, without laying down those parameters, if we are going to be asked to engage, then, Honourable Presiding Member, I think the President and the government can find other partners in the Northeast. We certainly are not prepared to cheat our people and be a party to another fiasco. So it is in that context, Honourable Presiding Member, that I wish to state a few things. You see, we talk of a unitary state. Now, we've had a unitary state since independence. This country has known no other system of government other than a unitary structure. Now, one of the most important justifications for a unitary state is that if you depart from a unitary state, we are told, it is a slippery slope towards secession. But that's the furthest from the truth, Honourable Presiding Member. I mean, let's take this 75-year history of Sri Lanka. You've had a unitary state, but you couldn't prevent a secessionist movement. You couldn't prevent a scenario in 2000 where you had an area of this island that was completely under the control of the LTT, where your writ, the state's writ, did not run in those areas. All that happened within this unitary state. Legally, you were a unitary state. So it is not the constitutional terms of unitary or federal that is going to determine whether the people in this country, particularly the Tamil people in this country, want a separate state or not. It is about how you treat them. What is the political culture that is being used? Whether those people, who they may be, feel loyal towards the state. Those are the values that will ultimately determine whether all of Sri Lanka, all of its peoples, are going to be faithful to this state. Those are the only values, Honourable Presiding Member, that will be determining factors. Not your label of unitary, or for that matter even federal. Sri Lanka can be federal. But if that federal structure is defeatist to a point where it's not implemented, in the same way that people talk of the 13th Amendment and various other constitutional provisions, then again you're not going to have a loyal citizenry that says that Sri Lanka is the home for all of us. No, on the contrary. On the contrary. So, Honourable Presiding Member, it is our view that if the Sinhalese people are told the truth, and the truth has never been told them, the truth has never been told them, they have been frightened, they have been brainwashed to a point where nothing but a unitary state is being considered. Anything beyond a unitary state is immediately rejected. Well, if you are going to reject it in that way, then be clear. Be clear. You are going to have a permanent state of insecurity, where you're going to always think and look beyond your shoulder, thinking that the other non-Sinhala Buddhist sections of this country are not going to be faithful to this state. And you are going to spend exorbitantly, because you're going to be paranoid in that way, and rightfully so, because I don't think, if you're not prepared to consider alternatives to a unitary state, I don't think you're going to have genuinely anybody else being faithful to this country. I can tell you that as a person who is born and bred in Colombo amongst the Sinhalese, who grew up amongst the Sinhalese, I can tell you that once the Sinhalese people are honest, once the Sinhalese people are protective, they're friendly, they're faithful to friendship, but when it comes to this ethnic problem, something happens. All sense goes out of the window. That must change, Honourable Presiding Member, if we are to be serious in finding solutions to this